The signal had been drifting through the void for 11,000 years before it found something to listen to. Commander Ethan Walsh stood on the observation deck of the UES Prometheus, watching the ancient relay station spin lazily against a backdrop of dying stars. His science officer, Dr. Maria Alvarez, hadn't looked up from her console in 6 hours. "Ethan, you need to see this," she said, her voice tight. He crossed the deck. On her screen, a translation was resolving itself line by line. Ancient Galactic Concord script bleeding into English. Advisory 771 Omega. To all member species of the Concord, do not awaken. The humans, do not engage. Do not provoke. If contact occurs, withdraw immediately. Maria's hands trembled slightly over the console. "This warning is old, Ethan, older than our written history. Someone cataloged us as a threat before we'd even invented the wheel." Ethan frowned. "Cataloged us? We haven't left the solar system until 40 years ago. That's the thing." She pulled up a star chart, red markers blooming across a dozen systems. "This isn't about our ships. It's about us. Something happened a long time ago. Something the Concord buried." 3 weeks later, the Prometheus limped into orbit above Threnn, a Concord outpost of glass spires and silent avenues. The Threnni, tall silver-skinned beings with luminous eyes, had not responded to hail for 6 days. When Ethan's team finally beamed down, escorted by a nervous local magistrate named Vex, the reason became clear. The Threnni wouldn't look at them. Not wouldn't speak, wouldn't look. Every citizen averted their eyes the moment a human entered a room, as though acknowledging them might summon something worse. "Magistrate," Ethan said, standing in the vast marble hall of Threnn's council chamber, "we've come in peace. We received a distress beacon from your outpost near Calder's Reach. We only want to help." Vex's eyes flicked toward him, then away, fast, like flinching from a flame. "The Concord Accord forbids acknowledgement. It is an old law, older than my people's cities." "Acknowledgement of what?" Maria pressed. "What did we do?" Silence. The chamber lights hummed. Finally, an elder stepped from behind a stone column, ancient, stooped, her silver skin dulled with age. She was the first Threnni to meet a human gaze directly in 6 days. "You did nothing," the elder said. "That is precisely the danger. You do not remember. You cannot possibly remember." "But we do," she gestured, and the chamber's far wall shimmered into a view screen. Star charts. Battle records. And at the center of it all, humans. Not soldiers in modern uniforms, but figures in strange, archaic void suits, standing before a burning fleet 100 times their number. 12,000 years ago, the elder said. Your ancestors were not a footnote species crawling out of an ocean. You were part of the First Concord. You fought beside us against the devour swarm of plague that ate stars for fuel. You were the ones who ended it. And the cost? Her voice cracked. The cost was your homeworld's memory of itself. A weapon turned inward, deliberately, to save the galaxy from what your victory had awakened in you. Ethan felt the floor tilt beneath him, though nothing physically moved. You're saying we erased ourselves? On purpose. Your ancestors chose to forget so they could choose peace again, the elder said. The Concord swore an oath, never wake that memory. Never test that sleeping fire. We built silence around your species like a quarantine, not out of hatred, Commander Walsh, out of fear of what you already proved you could do. Maria's voice was barely a whisper. And if we ever remembered on our own? The elder finally, fully met her eyes. Then the galaxy prays that you remember why you chose to forget. That night, alone in his quarters, Ethan pulled up the old battle records the elder had given them. Grainy, corrupted, thousands of years decayed, but unmistakably human faces. A woman named Captain Diane Foster, standing on a bridge exactly like his own, giving an order to hold the line against impossible odds. A young engineer, Private Marcus Doyle, rewired a reactor with his bare hands while the hull screamed around him. Not gods, not monsters, just people doing what needed doing and then choosing to To let it go rather than let it define them. He thought about every warning and every scrap of Concord data. Do not awaken. Do not acknowledge. Not because humanity was a weapon, because humanity had once been one, and put itself down anyway. Ethan called the elder to a private meeting the next morning. He didn't come with demands. He came with a simple question. You've watched us for 12,000 years, waiting to see if we'd become that again, he said. So tell me, have we? The elder studied him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she reached out and did something no Threnn had done in 6 days. She extended her hand toward his, palm open, in the universal gesture of trust. No, she said. You came here to save strangers who wouldn't even look at you. That is not the shape of the thing we feared. Ethan shook her hand. Lift the advisory, he said quietly. We don't want to be feared. We want to be known. Word of what happened at Threnn spread through the Concord slower than light, but it spread. Species that had spent millennia refusing to meet human eyes began, cautiously, to look. Not because humanity had proven itself harmless, power like that is never harmless, but because it had proven something rarer, that it could hold unimaginable strength and choose. Again and again gentleness instead. Back on Prometheus, Maria found Ethan on the observation deck, watching Threnn's twin moons rise. They spent 12,000 years being afraid of what we might become, she said. Ethan nodded slowly, watching the light spill across the hull. Turns out the scariest thing about humanity was never what we could destroy. He smiled, faint and certain. It was that we'd rather build something worth protecting instead.